The person across from you just changed. Their voice, their hands, the light in their face, and some part of you noticed. That flicker is the only real tell there is. And almost everyone reads it completely wrong. Here's the trap you're stuck in. Either you trust a myth, crossed arms means they're lying. No eye contact means they're hiding something, and you get fooled by anyone who's read the same myth. Or you do the opposite. Something in someone genuinely felt off. Your gut quietly flagged it. And you talked yourself out of it. Be reasonable. Don't be paranoid. And later, it turned out you were right the whole time. You had the signal. You just didn't trust it, because nobody ever taught you what it actually was. So you bounce between a myth that fools you and an instinct you override. There is a third option, and it's the only thing that actually works. Quick thing before we get into it. If decoding how people actually work, the real science, not the body language folklore, is your thing, subscribe, and I'll keep breaking it down with you. If it's not for you, no hard feelings, keep watching. Because what comes next changes how you see every conversation you have. So here's what's really happening when you just know something's off. You are not reading a gesture. You're reading a change. Every person has a baseline, a normal way they sound, move, breathe, and hold their face when nothing's at stake. And what your gut actually catches is the moment they deviate from it. The voice that tightens. The hands that go still. The smile that arrives a half-second late. That's the whole thing, and it has a name. I call it the baseline shift. You can't read a person in the abstract. You read the distance between how they normally are and how they are right now. And there's one move at the end of this that turns that hunch into something you can actually trust. I'll give it to you in a minute. First, the single most important thing anyone has ever found about reading people. In 2003, a psychologist named Bella DePaulo pulled together decades of deception research, over 100 studies, hundreds of supposed tells. She was hunting for the gesture that reliably gives a liar away. The fidget. The glance. The touch of the nose. And here's what she found. There isn't one. No single behavior reliably signals a lie. Liars don't consistently look away. Plenty hold eye contact harder. They don't always fidget. Plenty go unnaturally still. Decades of studies put the average person at about 54% at catching a lie. Barely better than flipping a coin. There is no Pinocchio's nose. Sit with that, because it kills every party trick you've ever been sold. The only thing that ever reliably means anything is the change, the shift away from that person's own baseline. Which is the whole reframe, in one line. You can't read a person. You can only read the moment they change. So how do you actually use this? 5 things to watch, and they only work in order. The first one almost everyone skips. Set the baseline first. Before you read anyone, watch how they are when nothing's on the line, their normal pace, their resting voice, what their hands do when they're relaxed. That's your reference point. And without it, you've got nothing to compare the shift to. Here's the surprising part. Your fast first impression is real data. In 1992, Harvard researchers Nalini Ambady and Robert Rosenthal showed people silent 2-second clips of teachers they'd never met. Those snap judgments matched the ratings of students who'd sat in the class all semester. They called it thin slicing. Your brain reads a stunning amount from a tiny sample. But here's the honest limit. Thin slicing is good at some things, like warmth or confidence, and bad at others. It cannot tell you whether a person is lying. It tells you who they are at rest. That's your baseline. Clock it first. Second, read the cluster, not the tell. This is DePaulo's finding turned into a habit. One gesture means nothing. Crossed arms? Could be lying. Could be cold. Could be comfortable. Could just be how they stand. A single signal is noise. What's actually worth reading is 3 things shifting at once: the voice tightening, and the hands going still, and the breathing changing, all together, all in the same moment, all away from baseline. One change is just weather. But 3 changes stacking up at the exact instant a certain topic comes up, that's a signal worth noticing. Not a verdict. A signal. So stop hunting for the one magic tell. There isn't one. Watch for the cluster, the moment several things move at once. Third, when words and tone split, believe the gap. You've heard the rule: 93% of communication is body language, only 7% is the actual words. It's a myth. It gets misquoted constantly. Albert Mehrabian at UCLA, back in 1967, never said tone beats words across the board. His finding was narrow and specific. When someone is talking about a feeling, and their words say one thing while their tone and face say another, we tend to believe the tone. That's it. That's the real gold underneath the myth. Not that words don't matter. But this: when the words and the music don't match, "I'm so happy for you," said in a flat, cold voice. The mismatch itself is the message. And here's the move it points to. The gap doesn't tell you the answer. It tells you to ask another question. Believe the gap enough to get curious, not enough to conclude. Fourth, catch the leak. Sometimes a feeling a person is trying to hold down escapes for a fraction of a second. The smile that drops too fast. A flash of fear under a calm answer. In 1969, Paul Ekman and Wallace Friesen at UC San Francisco called this nonverbal leakage, the real emotion leaking past the mask. And now I have to correct something, by name. You've seen the clickbait, how to spot a liar in 3 seconds. Spotting one micro-expression does not make you a human lie detector. That whole lie to me fantasy oversells the science badly. Here's what a leak actually tells you. That an emotion is being managed. Not what the lie is. Not even that there is a lie. People manage their feelings for 100 honest reasons. A leak is a flag that says there's more going on here than they're showing. It is a reason to look closer. It is never, by itself, a verdict. Fifth, and this is the move I promised you, the one that turns a hunch into something you can trust. Verify with a probe. Everything so far gives you a hypothesis, not a conclusion. So you test it. Aldert Free, a deception researcher at the University of Portsmouth, found something simple and powerful. Lying takes more mental effort than telling the truth. A true story is just remembered. A false one has to be built and held together in real time. So you gently add load. You ask one unexpected, specific question they didn't rehearse. What song was playing? Who else was there? Walk me back through that, but start at the end. Truth handles the curveball, it's just memory. A fabrication wobbles. Now, this raises your accuracy modestly. It is not a polygraph, and you are not interrogating your friends. But that's the move that closes the loop. You never conclude from a read. The read is the hypothesis. The probe is the test. Let's run all 5 on one scene you know. Someone you love says, "I'm fine." Baseline. You already know how fine sounds when they actually mean it. Cluster. This time the voice is flat, and the shoulders drop, and they turn slightly away. 3 things at once. Gap. The word says fine. The tone says anything but. So you believe the gap and get curious. Leak. For half a second, right before the fine, something crossed their face. So you don't announce you're lying or you're depressed. You probe gently. You got quiet there. What's going on? One real question. And now you're not guessing. You're checking. Quick and important. This is education, not therapy. It's for understanding the people in your life, not for diagnosing anyone or deciding to end a relationship over a micro-expression. If something's really hurting, a licensed professional is the move. Reading people well makes you more curious about them, never more sure you've got them figured out. So here's the whole thing in one line. You can't read a person. You can only read the moment they change. Set their baseline, so you know they're normal. Watch for the cluster, not the one tell, 3 things shifting at once. When words and tone split, believe the gap enough to get curious. Notice the half-second leak for what it is, a flag, not a verdict. And before you ever conclude, verify with one quiet, unexpected question. 5 skills, but really 1 move. Notice the shift, then check it. Here's your one thing for the next 24 hours. Pick one person and just clock their baseline. How they sound when nothing's wrong. That's it. Do that, and you'll start seeing the shifts everywhere. If the science of why you do what you do is what you came here for, subscribe and keep one of these in your back pocket. The Human Code. The science of why you do what you do.